And now, Olivier Assayas' Personal Shopper from IFC Films. One of 2 movies I waited to see before making this video. It was so worth the wait. I really hope this gets some kind of push from IFC. It is a gorgeous, devastating film from start to finish. Just a beautiful meditation on grief, denial, and the forbidden. What is actually forbidden and what we forbid ourselves to do. I love, love, love Assayas' taught direction here. And his screenplay puts together a really peculiar story that works a lot better than you would ever expect something like this to work. I mean, it's about a personal shopper who's also a medium looking for signs of her dead brother's lingering presence. Trust me, this is absolutely worth seeking out. Personal Shopper additionally boasts the best mise-en-scène of 2017 thus far. Lush cinematography. Editing that juggles a lot of relatively standard shots along with glimpses of the fantastical, introspective moments, and powerful long takes. And I love long takes, so I was totally here for it. A sound design with moments that scared the bejesus out of me more than most horror movies do. Costumes ranging from the ordinary to the most. The use of costuming here goes far beyond, wow, Kristen Stewart can sure pick out a dress. And on that note, Kristen fucking Stewart.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely stunning. This is easily my favorite performance of 2017 thus far. And I will not be terribly surprised if this remains my favorite performance among films released during 2017. The nervousness that's sort of become a trademark of her acting has never been put to better use. Stewart employs a complete surrender to character and circumstance as a very complicated woman who often wants to make herself appear as simple and uninvolved as possible. Just to avoid the challenging, life-altering questions she actually asks herself over and over again. Just watch this movie, Oscar voters. You will not be disappointed. Kristen Stewart will probably be on your Oscar ballot afterward. You are welcome. Let me cross my fingers. And going from a movie like Personal Shopper that uses costumes for subtext to a movie that disregards the rhetorical implications of the costuming present in the original movie, Bill Condon's Beauty and the Beast from Disney. Yeah. Look, there are elements of this adaptation that work. I love Alan Menken's adaptation of the score. It works really well in a digital format, and like if you listen to the original soundtrack on the digital format, it doesn't quite pop like it does when you're watching the movie. And the key change with Belle, the big opening number, is everything. But beyond that, costumes are lovely, but they are sorely lacking in subtext, and I will talk about that more in another video that I promise I am making. The sets are beautiful, nowhere near as much as the original film. The cinematography and editing zip between some genuinely rich and captivating shots and some takes that are dodgy, if not a little cringeworthy. And since it's a musical, any sound design with this much obvious
Auto-tune
deserves no special praise. I'm sorry, it's just, there's no excuse here. I do like the CGI work on the Beast, and I actually like the design for Mrs. Potts, Lumiere, and the gang. Since the castle's inhabitants look less human with each fallen petal, it actually makes sense for them to look less anthropomorphic than their 1991 counterparts. Moreover, if you'd simply given the original character designs a computer animated update, let's just be real, it would look dumb as hell. So maybe visual effects for this, I guess. Let's circle back to Alan Menken and the new compositions he wrote for this film. He wrote an aria for Audra McDonald. Nobody's talking about that. Maybe an aria is too much of a preset template sort of thing to be considered. I'm not sure. Based on the current conversation, there are 3 original songs from this film that are eligible for the Academy Award for Original Song. So you've got How Does a Moment Last Forever, which has a reprise, Days in the Sun, and Evermore. How does a moment last forever is cute, I guess. The reprise is so much better than the original track, but neither plays particularly well in the film. The first appearance feels very unnecessary. And the reprise is all about answering questions that we weren't really asking. Both versions, especially the reprise, play so much better when simply listening to the soundtrack. Days in the Sun is just bad. I am sorry. It's no. Just like How Does a Memo Last Forever, this quaint little ensemble number plays a lot better by itself on the soundtrack. But in the context of the film, sweet mother of God, it's one big scene of who cares and evermore. The surefire standout of the newbies, a lovely sweeping ballad that actually works to advance emotions that are relevant to the main story. Plus, it's cool to see the Beast get a solo number in a cinematic adaptation. So Evermore for original song, absolutely. By the way, Celine Dion and Josh Groban sing the adult contemporary edits of How Does a Moment Last Forever and Evermore respectively. And I would highly recommend listening to both versions. In fact, I like to think of the pop version of How Does a Moment Last Forever as a passive-aggressive jab at Disney's remaking of the animated film in the first place. I don't know, maybe it's just me. And this is not to say that the pop version should ever be considered the real versions over the recordings present in the film. And anybody who saw a certain CBC interview knows exactly who and what I'm talking about. Lastly, for the movies from Q1 that I think deserve at least a look, there's Nikki Caro's The Zookeeper's Wife from Focus Features. It's really oddly constructed. Okay, so even the strongest films have peaks and valleys. And this World War II drama about a woman who uses her zoo to hide Jewish people from the Nazis never really finds too many peaks or valleys either, with the bulk of the running time kind of spent on seemingly identical happenings. Chastain's hubby goes to rescue some Jewish folks. He brings them back to the zoo. These people stay at the zoo. There's not a whole lot of variation here. And all of a sudden, boom! Jessica Chastain's pregnant, keeling over a sink, and giving birth. All within the course of like maybe 1 minute. It's so weird, oh my god. This happens about halfway into the movie, if not a little more into it. And it finally starts to feel like there's some momentum and everything just starts to happen all at once. So, pacing and editing were certainly issues with this movie. I feel like a longer cut of this movie would have made some more sense. But as always, Jessica Chastain does light up the screen. And while I don't expect it to last, either in regard to award season overall or just my personal picks, for now she would probably make my best actress lineup. And Shira Haas gets really powerful moments as a young Jewish girl who's faced some absolute atrocity. And yes, I know that Jewish people in the Holocaust faced absolute atrocity, obviously, but the girl in this movie, I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. So Haas might be one of my supporting actress nominees as of right now. Okay, so that's it. The movies from the first quarter of 2017 that should be in the conversation for some kind of Oscar recognition later this year.